Hello and welcome, it's Barbara from Vienna, Austria, and we are going to unbox the February Your Creative Studio box today, and at the end of the video I will show you what I will do with these items. This month's theme is travel, and we're starting off with Amanda's sticker sheet that she creates every month. And I will let you watch the rest of the unboxing. See you back at minute 4:28 when I start working with this lovely supplies. As you see, lots of beautiful items to work with again this month. And so I chose this page in my journal to work with. And I'm starting off by choosing one of these beautiful collaged papers, which I actually noticed afterwards are stickers. And I'm going to start off by making a large pocket with this one. So I'm just marking the width that I want the pocket to be, and I trimmed that down, and I'm going to put it on some of my beige 200 GSM cardstock. it's nice that I didn't have to use glue on this. And these papers are great because half of your job is already done for you because it's already so beautifully collaged. So all you have to do is stick it on and it looks great as it is. So now I'm just inking up the sides, and then I'm going to use my envelope punch board to punch a little thingy there, a notch in my top of the envelope. And if you don't have that, you can just use like a half circle punch maybe. And now I'm using my 3-in-1 glue to glue down this pocket to be a top loading pocket. I forgot to mention, of course, I'm linking the Your Creative Studio link below so you can get your own box if you wish. I do love these boxes very much. And also I want to mention that you don't need this box to do what I'm doing. You can use any of the papers that you have to construct something similar if you wish. Everything that I'm doing here today can be done with anything you have at hand already. So what I'm doing here is, as you can see, I just glued 2 of the other papers back to back because I wanted this to be a little flip out, which then I'm going to attach with washi tape. And then I thought, well, one flip out is not enough. I wanted to have another flip out, but a smaller one. So I'm just measuring on 2 more papers that I'm also going to be gluing back to back for the next piece that will flip out. And here I'm just measuring because I wanted this one not to be attached by washi but by a flap. So here I am gluing them back to back. And now I'm going to score, I guess, around 1/4 of an inch, but you can just fold it without having a scoreboard. I do have this link down below if you're interested. And now I've just folded it, and I'm gonna just cut the 2 corners off. It's actually not really necessary to cut the corners off, but I do like that look. And I'm going to ink all around the edges, including the crease or the fold. And there you see the little flap. So now I'm not sure which one I'm gonna attach first, but here you see I'm gonna have the flip out on the flip out. Okay, so first I'm attaching the small one to the larger one with my 3-in-1 glue, which is also linked below. Just gonna burnish that a little bit to make sure it holds well. And now I'm going to use the washi tape that came with the kit to attach the big flap. So first I'm measuring how long the strip needs to be. I'm going to cut that off. And then since washi tape isn't really strong enough to hold over a longer period of time, I'm just adding some glue stick to that. And finally I'm attaching that, and I'm going to do the same thing on the other side to give it a good hold. Okay, so now we have this cute little flip out. But I decided to add another one, an even smaller one. So I'm choosing my papers for that. Again, 2 different ones for the front and the back. And I'm sticking with the bird theme that I have going on here on this one on the right. So to determine what size I want it to be, I'm going by this image of the birds. So I'm first cutting that out. checking what width it needs to be. And then I'm using that as a template to see what size the other piece needs to be to have that bird on it, and then just again gluing them back to back. So cute. I love these collage papers. You can do anything with them. So that's going to be our third little piece. And I do make a mistake here, but it doesn't really matter. I put the flap on the wrong side, because you'll see then when I attach it, I have to attach it a little bit differently. But it's all good. Again, I'm gonna cut the corners. First I'm gonna fold it and then cut the corners. And ink it all up. And glue it on. When you compare how this one is glued on to how the previous one is glued on, you'll see it's just different, because I made the flap on the wrong side and I couldn't just turn it around, because then the birds would have been upside down. But it's fine, it works as well. Let's just pretend that's how it was always supposed to be. Okay, now we have these three little parts of our flip out. And of course we want to add some pockets. So to the smallest one, I'm starting off by adding a little pocket with my cardstock, and I'm going to make this a straight pocket. So I'm scoring 3 sides of the pocket. Then I'm cutting off all of the corners, folding down the flaps. And then I realized it's a bit too tall, because I didn't want that face of the bird to disappear. So I cut the top off a little bit more. Yeah, that was better. So then I wanted to cover that, and I'm using one of the scraps from the big pocket, which are the stickers. And I'm just marking how big that needs to be, peeling it off and sticking that right on the pocket. So easy to do. And after inking it up, I thought I would also add this little notch from my envelope board. I also have this link down below, by the way. So that's what that pocket looks like. So now I'm just gonna glue the 3 flaps down again with my 3-in-1 glue and attach that to that little flip out. Next, I wanted to add a tall tuck spot to this middle flip out. So I again cut this from the cardstock, and now I'm looking for an image for the front. Didn't find anything that would work well with the stickers, just because of the weird shape. But then I went to these other papers and I found this turnip one, and that made me laugh, because I'm eating so many raw vegetables at the moment, because I'm trying as much as possible to follow this plant-based whole food diet. So that's why this turnip is actually pretty funny for me to have in this spread. So after gluing that on, I'm just going to glue the 2 sides and then glue that down. So there's another pocket. I would have liked to make more pockets, to be honest, on the inside, but I didn't want it to be too thick because I didn't have a way to close it. So that's why I kind of held back a little bit. But now I wanted to also make a corner top loading tuck spot. And again, I'm just using a scrap and mounting that onto my cardstock, rounding the corner to fit the rounded corner on my flip out, inking it up, and now I'm just going to glue the two sides onto that left corner because I thought that corner was still a bit empty and I didn't really want to cover up that beautiful plant image on the right. So there's our little tuck spot there. And I wanted to use the biggest stamp that was in the set to add something to that little tuck spot. So here's a scrap from one of the papers I had used, and I'm using my black archival ink, also linked below, to ink up the stamp. And I did a horrible job, as you will see here in a moment. I don't know why I didn't even see it before I stamped it. The whole image of the plane is missing here. So I decided to turn it around, try it again, and I did a much better job that time. Now it's a beautiful image. Love this. And I'm going to use these fun kids scissors, these scalloped edge scissors, to cut this out just to make it a little bit more fun and interesting. And because it was a stamp, I kind of wanted to have this scalloped edge. Of course, I'm inking it up. And then I'm going to mount this on a strip of this leftover tunip paper, which I'm then going to glue onto my cardstock again to give it some more body. So after cutting that out, I am of course I'm rounding the corners again, and then I'm going to ink that up as well. So then we have our little card, I guess you can say. You could journal on the back, and I'm gonna stick that in that corner tuck spot. So that's the front. Going back to the inside, I first wanted to make something for the pocket, but then I saw these round world stickers, and I thought it would be fun to make a closure for that last little flip out. So I chose one, and I'm going to glue it onto my cardstock. And I happen to have this 1.5 inch circle punch. I will link that below as well, which happens to be exactly the same size as the stickers. So that was very convenient, but I could have also cut it out by hand. And one thing I don't like about these kind of stickers is that they're shiny. So in order to get rid of that shine, if it bothers you, you can use a very fine sandpaper and then just go over the top layer a little bit. But as you will see, it takes off quite a lot of the image, of course, because it's taking away the ink as well. And yeah, this is what it looks like. So almost all of the shine is completely gone, but so is most of the image. And then I ink it up, and I also ink up like the front of it where there was too much white. You can hardly even tell that it was a map, to be honest. But it doesn't matter, I still prefer it this way to the shiny map. So now I'm going to use my awl to punch a hole through the sticker plus through the little flip out, and I'm going to attach it with this tiny brand which was in a Happy Mail. And now we have a little closure for that last flip. It's kind of big for the for the size of the flip, but it's okay. I still think it's fun. And to cover the brad backside, I'm using one of Amanda's stickers to just go over those. And that was the perfect size. As you can see, you could never tell there's a brad underneath. And now I'm using this scrap that was left over from one of the papers, and I'm going to use this stamp on the left to make a little tiny card for the little pocket. So that stamped beautifully the first time. And again, I'm going to cut this out and mount it on my beige cardstock. And I'm again going to use my scalloped scissors to cut it out. Inking it up. And there's our tiny little pocket card. You could also journal on that even though it's small. And now I need something for this longer pocket. So I'm going back to these sticker papers, and I wanted to use this beautiful image with this lady drinking her coffee. So I'm cutting it out and mounting it again on my cardstock. Cutting it out. And after inking it up, I am going to place it into the pocket. Here, I was just checking whether I want to add a pocket or something there, but I didn't because I didn't want to cover up those beautiful bird images. But then I thought I wanted something on that little pocket, so I wanted to use one of these labels there in the middle, and I wanted to stamp a word on it with this large 12-digit rollable stamp, which I will also link below, and I've already formed the word create. So I'm just stamping a sample to see if the letters are aligned, and then I'm stamping it on that little sticker, which I totally managed not to stamp in the middle. But I'm going to use it anyway, it's good enough. And I'm just going over the top edge with my black ink because that was kind of missing on the sticker, so I just added that, and now I'm going to add that to my pocket. So that's how that looks now. I think it's so much fun. And I also wanted to add something to that long pocket in the middle, and I still had this washi tape. This is the second washi tape that was in the kit, and I'm cutting out two of the green, like they're stamps. So I am going to attach this washi to my cardstock to give it some strength. Cutting that out, and that is going to make a tiny pocket. So inked it up, and then I'm going to use my 3-in-1 glue to attach that. Just gluing the 3 sides. It's really a tiny pocket. And a tiny pocket needs a tiny stamp, so I chose this one, the Queen. And I'm stamping that onto one of Amanda's sticker stamps. I love how that looks. Poor Queen has a green head that looks so cool. And I'm again going to attach that to my cardstock. I'm going to cut that out with some regular scissors this time. I thought it was a bit too small for these scalloped scissors. And there she is. Maybe she's green with envy at this beautiful box. Okay, so that's what she looks like in the pocket. And lastly, we have to make a large card or tag for this top loading pocket. So I've pre-cut a cardstock to fit in there, and I chose this paper to go on there, and now I just have to adjust the cardstock and the paper to be the same size. So all the collaging again is done for you. I'm rounding the corners. And I wanted to, after inking it up, I wanted to add a tab on the top. So I wanted to use this big washi that was in the kit. And I'm cutting out a part here that I'm going to then attach to my cardstock. This washi didn't stick very well, so I had to use some glue on the back of that. So now I'm going to fold it in half, and I'm going to use my tap punch, which is also linked below. And I don't know why I totally wasn't thinking when I was doing this, because usually when I use this tap punch, when I fold it, I managed to punch it out so that it's one piece and I just have to fold it in half, but for some reason I didn't do it correctly and I had two pieces, which is fine as well, but totally would have been easier if I would have just had that one folded piece. So I'm using my 3-in-1 glue to glue these both back to back on the top. There we go. Love how that looks. And now I'm going to mod prompts for the back because I wanted to journal about something on the back, and I found this one from number 21 reading, make a card for your 13-year-old self and write some good advice in it. Keep this in a pocket in your journal. Also make a corresponding pocket. So we've made the corresponding pocket, and now we're going to journal on the back side, and I'm going to just ink this up and put it as a heading on my card. And I'm going to write about 3 different advice. The first one is stay active and healthy by adapting a whole food plant-based diet and going to the gym regularly. Number 2, pursue, and I spelled that wrong, pursue your passion and believe in yourself and don't listen to anyone telling you you can't do it. Instead, listen to your gut. And number 3 is never doubt the power of true love and just be yourself. Meaning kind of like don't try to be someone else for someone else, just be yourself and they will love you just as you are. Okay, so we're going to put that in the big pocket, and that concludes today's page. So just gonna look at everything one more time. I love how this turned out. I think it's so fun to have interactive pages like this with lots of flips and pockets and tuck spots and stuff to pull out and to move. So I really do hope you play around with your papers and have fun with this style of page. There we go. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Amanda, for sending me this box, and hope to see you back in the next video. And if you enjoyed this, please don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. Thank you so much. Bye.